Welcome to another edition to Motivational Sundays with Kevin and Friends. We are now all together in at least in one state. The cast and crew of Motivational Sundays with Kevin and Friends are in Roxbury, Massachusetts. All right. Hopefully I said that right. I couldn't say as a kid, but I can't say as an adult. So hopefully anyone that wants to correct me, shame on you. Keep your thoughts to yourself. This quote will probably say the same thing to you. But anyway, this show was originally created from the more than 300 quotes that I had for the contents of my books. Naheem, Chris, and Gilda, and Denise, Larnez, Peter, Jessica, and our voice Otis, my co-host. We were always curious how one quote landed on another person, and we created a conversation based on interpretation and perspectives. We meet every Sunday at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. You're welcome. And today we have a wonderful quote by Iron Mike Tyson. I'm going to turn the show over to the voice of our show, the golden voice. He's also a theatrical, classical trained actor. Hopefully we'll get a chance to talk about his work one day. Otis, you want to go ahead and lay Mike's words of wisdom on us and duck while you're doing that?
Certainly, certainly. And the quote this morning is, everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face.
Everyone has a plan till they get punched in the face by Iron Mike Tyson. This quote was brought to us this week by our new family members, Jessica and Peter Chichester. Oh, Peter. Well, we believe it or not, Jessica, we took a vote. We all knew where the quote came from. All right. So thanks for letting us know. So Peter and Mike, and we'll find out why you brought this quote to us today.
Quotes, like the beauty of the show, right? It's how it hits everyone differently. And Mike Tyson's quote seems, again, so simplistic, right? In its delivery and its essence. And even if you take him at a surface level of just saying, oh, he's a boxer and, he's not intelligent in that realm. But that quote, to me, its simplicity is its beauty, right? Because everybody has a plan, no matter how much you plan for anything, right? And lay it out, take a business, right? Once you get punched in the face, once something happens, typically that plan goes out the window, right? And you're free flying, right? Okay, like, whoa, what just happened? All of that's gone, and I have to come back to reality, to that moment, to, okay, I didn't expect that. Let me reshift, let me adjust my sails and look at this a different direction. Because the best played plans, is, I'm one that lays in the moment more, right? Another quote off of that would be, I don't know who said it originally. I take it back from Tony Robbins, but if you're going to take the island, you have to burn the boats, right? So my plan is to take that island, right? Things are going to change all the time, right? I have to constantly adjust my plan. So that's why I really loved Mike Tyson's quote.
Right. And as much as people may not think, Mike Tyson has dropped a lot of words of wisdom on us during the course of his life, his career. And he has learned some lessons, and some of the lessons he had learned the hard way. And he is a better man and human being today than he was yesterday. So let's find out how one of our educators would interpret that quote. We have our author, spoken word, and also a passionate teacher here in the Boston area, Miss Denise Lopes. How does Mike Tyson's quote land on you? And I know teaching those young people, your plans go out the window every day.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. As an educator, you can have the lesson plan. So sometimes you can have the perfect lesson plan, and after when you start, you like, this is not gonna work. But my plan was always changed. It always changed, and that's mean if you have a plan, you want to do something, and you go for it. Sometimes you just have to. The people will say no to you, and you have to go back and change it again. And for me, as an educator, as an author too, sometimes when I was doing my book and I would have somebody read it, and they're like, oh, you need to change this, you need to change that. And sometimes I go back and I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense. So the same plan that you have, sometimes it does not work. So you have to really think about it when people give you criticism, because some people don't take criticism well. So for me, as a teacher, and sometimes when I got observed, the principal or the assistant principal say, "Oh yeah, you should do this this way. You should do this way." So changing my plan doesn't mean I'm gonna listen to what everybody says, but I'm gonna do what works for me with what they tell me.
And believe it or not, criticism is there for a reason. Not saying every critic is always right, but I also learned through my personal experience, every critic is not always wrong. So Dave Curtis, all right, director, screenwriter, friend, actor. He's also one of talented people in the Oscar-winning Best Supporting Actress movie, The Holdover. Dave Curtis, how does Mike Tyson's quote land on you?
Good morning, everyone. I apologize for my tardiness. It right off the bat, it hits me in pre-production for any project that I'm doing. That's where it hits me. You know, sometimes you plan for a lot of things when it comes to movies and production stuff, and what you're basically doing is preparing for what do they call it? Anything that might come up. You know, contingencies. That's the word that I was looking for. You're just planning for contingencies. And sometimes when you don't plan enough, something's going to fall through. And almost always it falls through. You can bet on something falling through. That's what it just makes me think of right from the bat. And I guess the remedy to that is to be able to adjust. Yeah, that's one tool that you have to develop is learning how to adjust.
Yeah, that's is true with life. It's just like looking through a lens of a camera. No matter what you're focusing on, you always have to shift and refocus and go as planned with a new plan. Jessica Chichester, I know you got firsthand be able to live with the man that gave you the quote. I'm just curious. Do like minds think alike?
Yeah,
Or
we
do,
do. Yeah,
all
we
right.
do. Because a quote that I like that I equate to it is from General Patton, and it's lead, follow, or get out of the way. You know, like just get up and do something. And so, like this quote to me, the beauty of its simplicity is like welcome to life. You know, like can I swear on here? Like welcome to the shit show. Really, welcome to the way it is. You know, we're all in the ring. We all think that we're prepared, and we're not. But I think what it comes with is what happens before we get in the ring, you know, and it's really all that preparation. So like every day when we walk out of our house, even getting out of our bed, like that's the ring of life, right? We have to put on our armor. And that's what I just, you know, one of my favorite quotes that's tattooed down my back is Ephesians 6. It's like, put on the armor of God, right? Because the battle is really a spiritual one. It's a war. And so the more that we can prepare our hearts, it's like once we get hit, it's a huge shift in consciousness. That's it. You're just disrupted. You don't know where right is from left is. I remember when I was in my days of being a professional weightlifter, I was getting close to a national competition and my spotter wasn't really spotting me. And anyway, I had 300 pounds fall right on my face. And I threw up my forearms and it displaced my jaw. And I got up like in a frenzy, just trying to see, you know, where I was in retrospect. Did I knock my teeth out? Because I've knocked my front teeth out before, you know? So I've gotten hit in the face quite a few times. And it was like, what do I do, right? What do I do right now? How do I gather ground, get solid, and who do I call on? So I think more than being prepared about, you know, what's going to happen if I get hit in the face. So often I can get trapped in that. What's going to happen every day? I'm going to get hit in the face. What's going to happen? What's going to happen in our business? What's going to happen to our kids? What's going to happen with the daily grind? What's going to happen financially? And it's not about that. It's about that preparation of heart beforehand. It's about putting on that armor beforehand and just saying, okay, God, I did my job. Now you do yours, and that's how it lands on me. And it lands on me also. I was thinking about the other day, like, you could think everything's sunshine and good. I remember another time when I was preparing for my first national competition, and I was the only woman training with this group of guys. I was really the only woman in my field. And, I had to be strong, and I had to stand my ground and walk a fine line. But one of my training buddies, he was like, yeah, I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna be there for your national competition. I'm gonna help you put on your suit, and it's gonna go well. And that day, he didn't show up. And I was like, what am I gonna do? And so I had to, again, use my intuition, right? I'm in the ring. Am I going to let this stop me? I've had too many generations that it's let them stop, too many people that it's let them stop. And I just used my intuition, and I sniffed out this one guy, and he helped me. And then after that, I didn't know. He ended up having a magazine. I ended up being in his magazine.
Wow.
So just knowing that punch in the face sometimes, like that shift that we need, it's a wake-up call. Like, wake up. This is your life. This is the last round. This is the one round you have right now. So,
Get up.
yeah, call on who you know and get up and go. So that's how that lands on me.
Yeah, and that just takes to the point you hear many motivational speakers says, get knocked down, get back up, get knocked down, get back up. My grandfather used to always say after twice getting knocked down, he says, duck. So, I like the way that you did that. Peter, I'm glad you married a strong woman. Your honey-to-dos list just got shorter because she can lift it on her own. So congratulations. We're proud of you. So let's go ahead. Military service guy. Tall, 6'1", 6'2". He walks like a Texan. We thank you for your service. Christopher James, we got a chance to do a wonderful photo shoot with our family while we're here in the Boston area. Christopher James.
Sure.
Just before we go on, can you give us the quote one more time?
Certainly. Everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face.
Mike Tyson. Chris?
From a military point of view, I like Patton's quote. That was perfect. But just, even breaking it down even further, every plan remains intact until engagement. I mean, the very first time you see who you've been planning for, everything's out the window. I noticed something about myself. When I was younger, I didn't do much in the way of planning. I'd listen to planning meetings. I'd listen to what they had, figured what was going to happen. Of course, I knew it was going to be something different. I'm always planning in the back of my head as to what I would actually do in that particular situation. And, it would work. I had a few bosses, or a few commanding officers who would actually ask for separate views. He says, this is the plan. That's what we're going to do. But I want everybody else watching. And I want to be given the input the minute you see something either go wrong or you see a better plan. And we'll quickly take a look at that. Then I've seen other COs who would simply stick to their plan, even though it's been taking hits, it's fallen apart. That's the plan. We're going to stick to the plan. And normally that pretty much precedes disaster. But the idea that no matter what you planned, something new is going to be introduced the minute you engage, that punch in the face. You have to be ready for that. Now, what I've noticed about myself, I'll lay in bed before I even get up, and I'm planning. I mean, I can recall as a young sailor, my plan was, as far as the day, putting on my shoes, all right, or remembering where my hat was that day. That's it. But now I actually lay in bed and I get right through the first 2 or 3 hours of the day. Okay, coffee and breakfast. I'll go hot breakfast this morning. And oh yeah, Gilda has an appointment at night. And my whole day is planned right there before I even move. And being that grumpy old guy with his pants pulled up to his chest, I stick to my plan. I'm sorry, you're not in my plan. Okay, right now we're supposed to be doing this. It's 9:32. We're supposed to be doing this. And I'll contribute to being old and crusty. But the idea of a plan and having a contingency plan and having a plan to the contingency plan, getting down to plan K has always been pretty much what I've seen in life. Plan A, B, C, D, you know, that they're there, but we normally operate on plan K or lower. So anyway, it's a great quote, and it's so life. It is so true to life. You know, no matter what you've got planned, all right, like clothes, for instance. Gilly keeps changing my clothes. Never find what I had wanted to wear. There is one particular sweater vest. It's gone. She just, it's gone. I don't have it anymore. It was a go-to sweater vest. Come on, it's gone now. You know, so yeah.
We were at Malcolm X Park the other day. I saw some guy wearing that sweater vest. Hey, I will tell you, Mike Tyson said it best. He says everyone has a plan until you get punched in the face. You ever see a boxer come out after the third or fourth round and he's all bloody and whatever, and his corner men are telling him to stop letting him hit him, you know, and the guy looks up and like, tell him that.
Yeah,
you know,
Mhm.
this reminds me of one of the most famous actors I've ever met. You know, he had always talked about one day, if I ever get a part with some meat on the bone, you know, this is what I'm going to do and whatever. And he's been in all these wonderful movies and everything and whatever. And then one day he comes up, he gets a manuscript, he auditions for it, and all of a sudden he gets the part. And then the rude awakening says, I got 8 pages of dialogue. I got 15 pages of dialogue. He calls his best friend at midnight. He goes, what the F? You know, I have no idea. Naeem, I'm sorry. That was a private conversation, right? A thespian. He told me never call him a superstar, but he is a star. King Haley II, supporting actor in an Oscar-nominated film, The Holdover. He is a brother from another mother, Naeem Garcia. If Mike Tyson were to tell you that every plan has a good idea until you get punched in the face, how does that quote land on you?
I could think about a few things. I've been thinking about a few things. I was trying to bring down the flyer from the play to have it in the background but I can't seem to work it out. But I think about Raising in the Sun, A Dream Deferred. You know, you're right. I thought, you know, like I could do all this stuff, but one of the reasons I never wanted to embrace, especially this particular play or this particular work, because it was challenging. It required it's urban, it's the urban Shakespeare, and it's a rhythm and it's a touch and it's a lot. But the reality of life is, you think you're a man until you find out you're not. You know, it's the same thing with, you know, everything's cool till you get punched to the reality of what it requires hits you. And if you're not a seriously deep or a person that works with work ethics, you won't understand that. You'll do what I did many years ago. It's like, I don't want to do that. That's too many lines. I said that, I don't know, without paying attention to detail, without paying attention to what it takes to get there. And also consistency. You know, what happens to a dream deferred? Does it drop like a raisin in the sun? You know, does it shrivel up? You know, that's reality. It keeps you humble. And it reminds you that no matter what happens in your life, no matter how good you get, there's always time to go back to basics, and there's always time to continue to work. No matter how good yesterday felt, I got to continue to do what I need to do to make sure that today feels even better. Not as good as yesterday, better. Today's a new day. What I say in the play, next day I know I woke up, it was morning of a brand new day. And today's a brand new day. And you got to look at things like you look at everything. Yesterday was yesterday. Today is today. And what goes on today does not guarantee what you did yesterday is going to work out. Just like Denise said, we're both educated. I walked in with a lesson plan for a school I was working at 3 days in the morning in East Boston High School, which is very far from my house. And I walked in there with a 2-page lesson plan, and it ended up being what was happening right there at that moment. And that I wrote something, didn't even use it, didn't even want it. The punch in the face. This is what happens, a whole new tune, and you got to adjust. So getting punched in the face is adjusting. As a boxer, you got to adjust to the hits, right? You got to adjust to what's coming. You've trained this way for this person, but once you get in there, it's a different story. You and I could be watching. He needs to lift to that. He needs to do it. Just like a football game. He needs to run to the left and catch it over here. Yeah, but when you're in it, it's a whole different story. It's a whole different story. So it's not a deep thing. It's quite simple and obvious. When you get punched in the face, and oh, by the way, Mike Tyson, have you ever seen his one-man Broadway show? As silly and as much fun everybody makes it, and everybody thinks he's a dum-dum, he's probably a very brilliant man.
He is
very, very brilliant man. Anybody that could come back from what he's done and continue to be relevant and iconic has something to say. Yeah, you can say Mike Tyson, the way he talks and all that. No. This man, when you hear his one-man show, have you ever on Broadway, by the way? Not everybody gets to do that. It was brilliant. It's a brilliant, brilliant show. You should watch it. So I'm gonna wrap up the other people to talk, but I gotta say, Jessica and Peter, Peter looks very familiar to me. I don't know why. What have you done? Jessica, y'all look a little familiar to me. Now, we're going to find out later on when we do the rap session. I want to know more, because I'm like, wait a minute, he looks very what we'll get into that later, because I want to know. Yeah, because I'm like, wait a minute, what has he done? He looks very, very familiar.
Well,
Kevin,
we don't
you
have
get more famous. Kevin, you could run across more famous people.
this is Larnez's doing. It's not mine.
Of course. Y'all from New York? y'all in New York too?
Connecticut.
Well,
Connecticut.
Right next door.
Right next door. All right.
Naheem, we're very proud of you, and I hope our listeners realize that in order to be in the company of some of these great people, you have to be humble and sit back and listen and learn. I've had many times of plans in my life had to shift and change and whatever, and that's just part of life. So sometimes my mother was a person that said very few words but said a lot. So our one queen here, she's very soft spoken, but I want to like a lion will roar. Gilda, how does this quote land on you?
Well, me and Chris was planning to do our 50th anniversary in Dubai. And so we was planning for
6 months.
Yeah, 6 months to make it happen.
Yep.
Well, it didn't.
Yep.
Dream deferred.
Dream deferred.
That's right. It did not. So plan B, we ended up going to Hawaii.
Which is not a bad plan B.
Yes. Yeah, because we've been there on our 40th anniversary. So as far as this quote goes, I wanted to go to Dubai first, but the second plan was just as good. Yeah, we had a lot of fun. Yeah.
All right. So that's the other thing, key to life. Quit taking life so serious and just have a lot of fun.
Yes.
Plan deferred, as he said. So, I've never been so nervous in my life. 6 hours in the car with Larnez, all the great wisdom or whatever. I jumped out smarter than I jumped in the car. So, Otis, if you would, and I'm going to tell everyone, buckle your seatbelts, fasten your seatbelts, because you're about to experience a ride. She's been working on this for a couple of days. Oh, just for our new listeners that just tuning in.
All righty.
Well, I got to get my plug. My computer's about to do its number. So, Larnez, you go right ahead. I can hear you. I just won't be able to see you while I get my plug.
Okay.
And the quote again is, everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face, by Mike Tyson.
So I was going to go off the top of my head, but what I wrote was so amazing. And we came in to like 2:00 in the morning. So I'm going to read what I wrote. Okay. This statement, though simple, carries the weight of a profound truth that resonates deeply within the struggle and the triumphs of life. In this powerful declaration, there is acknowledgement of life's unpredictability and an inevitable challenges that are destined to face. It speaks to the reality that despite our best efforts to plan, to organize, and to prepare for the future, we are at times met with unforeseen circumstances that can shake us to the core, reminiscent of a punch in the face that shocks us. Yet in this precise moment, we are faced with the unexpected, that the depths of our faith are resolved and our true character are tested and revealed. It is a reminder that the plans of man are but a whisper in the wind of the grand design of the Creator, and that our reliance should not solely rest upon our own understanding, but on our unwavering faith in God's guidance and providence. This statement calls upon us to be agile, to be resilient, to possess the spiritual fortitude, to withstand the trials that come our way. It urges us to understand that being struck by the unforeseen is not an end, but a beginning, a call to rise, a call to reassess, and to commit ourselves to a path with even greater determination and faith. Tyson's words implore us to recognize the strength that lies within our collective struggle and the power of unity and overcoming adversity. It is a testament to the fact that while individually we may face hardships, together as a community grounded in faith and mutual support, there is no challenge too great to overcome. In embracing this wisdom, let us move forward with the understanding that true measure of a person is not found in the meticulousness of their plans, but the ability to stand firm in their faith, to adapt, and to continue striving towards righteousness and justice, even when faced with an unexpected punch of life in the face. That's how this hit me.
Damn, you gotta go. Don't go to church. Just listen to the show. I feel like I need to put one of those, not the seatbelt, but the one you wear when you go on a roller coaster.
Yeah. That's why I said strap in. That's why I said strap in. And this is like you know, like you're learning how to cook for the first time. You got 3 things on the stove and everything's boiling over. That's what it's like to be in the car with Larnez. It's like I ain't getting nothing right today. So, you know, to have her this close to me, to bring in so many dynamic people into this. I mean, I have a plan and it shifts every single day. And, you know, all I can do is say, I'm grateful. I am grateful. I'm grateful for the knowledge. And for our listeners, you should be grateful to have this opportunity to hear so many like-minded people give their interpretation on a like-minded individual like Mike Tyson. And like Naeem said the other day, I've met Mike Tyson a couple of times personally. He's a brilliant man. He's just not a fighter. He's a brilliant human being. Mm-hmm. So, Otis, our voice, one more time. And I hate following all of you guys, but I love it. I love it.
For being last.
Huh. And I spend most of my time trying to be first, but that's okay. That's what life teaches you. All right. So,
well
Otis,
said, friend. Well said. Well said.
With that quote,
certainly.
Give it to us one more time and tell us your interpretation. And you got a big picture of Mike Tyson. I thought that was you at first. Okay.
Everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face. And what goes through my mind is you as an individual, you need to be strong-minded, strong-willed. You need to be adaptable because life is a roller coaster. You're going to have your ups, you're going to have your downs. But when you get down, you have to be adaptable to get up and make that change that's needed. You might have your plan to do certain things. And I look in life, but God might have another plan. He might knock you down and say, hey, take a look. You're not going in the right direction.
Mm.
I'm setting you back. I even look at when I was at International Place, I was the manager of that location, a parking garage, and certain things came up. I was going to work as a background for the original series Spencer for Hire. My boss, the area manager, said, hey, I need you to do this project for me. And I said, but I need to take tomorrow off because I'm going to be working on a television show. Let me get it done tonight, and I'll still, get things done, but not tomorrow. He didn't like that. I got knocked down to being a night supervisor. But did I let that stop me? Absolutely not. I kept going and going and going, became a location manager again, went to other locations, didn't agree with the manager, you get knocked down again, but I kept going. So keep going. Don't let anything stop you.
So many words of wisdom coming from so many wise people. And I will say this. We all have a plan, but we all follow the directions of a master planner, and that is our Lord. That's the plan that we should follow. I learned the hard way. Very successful in what I've been doing for over 40 years as a fitness influencer. But I realized that March 2nd, 2018, when I suffered a blow to the head with a dumbbell and lost my memory. And as soon as I started going through rehab and whatever, I realized, I said, the reason why, everyone always asks why this happened to me and whatever. I didn't ask why. I said, I just looked at God, was trying to point me in the direction where he wanted me to go. And that led me to starting this show, RMK Production, led me to a good friend, Raymond, that connected me to Naheem. And I've been connected to great people ever since then. So the takeaway for me is that we're all really good at something we're doing or something we're planning on doing. And somewhere during the duration or the time of your life, your efforts become challenged, either by yourself, by the environment, or someone in your life. And sometimes we spend too much time, defending a position that we don't have. We get disappointed by someone that we were dependent on. We get hurt by someone we didn't see coming, or we turn someone away that needed our help. But sometimes we're often left with the sticky end of the stick, and we have to shift and change. You control what you have control over. And the things you can't control, you just got to let go. Like Mike Tyson said, everyone has a plan until you get punched in the face. And like my grandfather said, get tired of being punched in the face, duck. And so with that said, I want to thank all of our listeners that have tuned in, that have followed, that have subscribed. I am very grateful for the many talented people, highly intelligent people that have joined me on this platform. I'm Kevin McLemore, your host. I'm joined with my co-hosts, Christopher and Gilda James, Peter and Jessica Chichester, Denise Lopes, Naheem Garcia, Otis Spencer, the voice of our show, and David Curtis. My grandfather always said, let me back up just for a second. For those of you that are following, that likes, go to RMK Productions and network on our YouTube page, follow and subscribe. If you want to be on this show, you're welcome. Just bring something positive. Everyone participates and everyone brings a quote. So just go to our Facebook page, Kevin McLemore, and just click the link to the Zoom. We meet every Sunday at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. You're always welcome, but bring something positive. So with that said, my grandfather always said, when you get to a place you can help someone, it is your duty to do so. He said, reach one, teach one. And with that said, Naheem.
Fade to black. Fade to black.
Fade to black. And we're out. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Until next week.